welcome to another episode of the AGRA podcast. We have two exciting guests with us, and as always, looking forward to this conversation because it's going to be a very dynamic one. Joining me today, I have Femi Adekoya, our Nigerian on the pod today, and Victor Mugo Muro, this time a Kenyan. How are you, Victor?
I'm really good. Thank you for the invite.
Femi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. I was looking forward to reading your profiles because one of them said flying farmer and it said to me, okay, this is going to be an interesting conversation. So Femi Adekoya is actually specializing in entrepreneurial work, but really around agricultural technology. And his work is around the drone technology, which is aiming to transform farming in Nigeria and Africa overall. He's the founder of Integrated Aerial Precision, IAP, and it's a company that uses drones to provide aerial intelligence. Femi. And then Victor. Victor is the Global Youth Engagement Lead at One Acre Fund, but also formerly with the World Food Forum. And he is known for creating platforms that engage and create spaces for young people. And I also just found out he's a farmer himself. So I'm looking forward to hearing about that. I want to start us off with the rapid fire section. Right? So question one, and you've got to just think on your feet, be quick. Don't take too time to think about it. Just the first answer that pops into your head. Yeah. What is your best food memory? We'll start with you, Femi.
That would be when I did well in school and my mom made pounded yam.
Okay.
With good egusi soup. And she put some good protein in there.
The protein is the key point I can see there.
Good protein.
Victor?
Yeah, for me, it's when I started farming, and because I was not engaged in farming for a very long time, and I was doing it for the very first time. And so once I had my first bean harvest, and the whole family really just enjoyed the meal, I was so proud.
You know, you're actually the second person who has said their first harvest was their best food memory. Yeah. So maybe I need to go into farming to have a different appreciation for food. Is this also true? Femi?
Yeah, there's that fulfillment you have hitting from your farm.
Something from your hands.
Yes, from your hands. Like you saw it grow and it's now on your table, mounting it or hitting it.
Okay, I think that maybe I'll give it a try.
Yeah, more youth in farming. More youth in
farming. Victor, you promised me also that there will be beans in almost every answer that you gave.
Every conversation there will be beans.
So my next question is, if you were to pick a basket of food that best represents the continent, what would be in your basket?
Beans. and for good reason. In East Africa, within a week, you'll find that beans are primarily in their diets. Then East Africa has the highest consumption of per capita of beans in the world. And they are very nutritious. They are easy to grow. Some of them are very high yielding. Some of them are have high iron intake, high zinc levels. And so they're just a healthy, good meal that you can always have. And if you want to sort of even support smallholder farmers, it's what they are growing. Yeah.
I keep thinking of the frame of some of our partners. Beans is how I think it also gives back to the soil. It's a good way. Anything else in your basket other than beans?
Beans for now. Yeah. Mr. Bean.
Femi, what's in your basket?
Well, I would say cassava.
Okay.
Yeah, being a major staple crop in sub-Saharan Africa, and particularly in Nigeria, where I come from, cassava is turned into variety of things, both for food and also for industrial materials.
The commercial opportunity there is also quite good with cassava.
Yeah, it's really enormous, and the variety that you get from cassava, from gari to fufu to starch, to tapioca. The list goes on and on and on and on. Maybe another one would be rice.
Oh, okay. No, our Nigerian friends, you're the second Nigerian to say cassava. So I think
Yeah.
there's something there. Either they're
Yeah.
thinking money or it's really good. And I think I actually believe the hype on cassava because I really like it as well. I want to move us into really reflecting on the last decade as a continent. When we think about the last 10 years, and I want to speak for all of us and say we're all young people that are stepping into this space. What do we think are some of the opportunities that maybe the people that have come before us have missed out on? And what can we do in the next decade that could maybe leverage those opportunities a bit better? Victor, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I think I can go first. So one of the things that I think has changed over the last decade, in my own estimation, was that we looked at agriculture by itself. But one of the things that has really shifted is to think about it as a system. So it's agriculture and food. And if you think of it as a system, there's much more entrepreneurial opportunities, there's much more broader thinking, system level thinking. And so we are not just solving one part of the problem, we are solving the problem as a whole. So I think we now have our priorities right with solving agri-food issues as a systemic sort of issue. Then I've been doing youth engagement probably for like 7-8 years now, and right for a very long time, young people are really striving to be on the table. But at this moment in time, young people are leading conversations. They sometimes are not called into tables, so they create their own tables. And then it has also become very easy to engage young people because there's pipeline of data that we now have, a pipeline of research that we now have. For example, FAO just released the status of youth in agri-food systems. And data is usually a big problem. So what cannot be measured cannot be improved, really. So young people also now see the opportunities within the agri-food value chain, and they want to tackle it as a business. They see now entrepreneurial opportunities, and so if it makes money to them, it makes sense. And so our work right now is just to show them just how we can turn this sector into entrepreneurial opportunities for them, and that agriculture really can be profitable. It doesn't need to be sexy. If it's sexy, it's even better, but it doesn't need to be sexy. As long as it's profitable, young people are getting into agriculture. So there's much more young people engaging in it. There's much more support from different organizations and stakeholders to support youth engagement. And we are also now segmenting also the youth demographic to think much more about youth and also as young men and young women, because the dynamics of engaging both are sort of different. The challenges, especially with climate change, affect young women further. The fact that agriculture is also manual, affects them. Further, some of the challenges, including access to finance, access to land, some of these challenges exacerbate, especially if you look into young women. So there's a lot of progress that we've seen in the last 10 years, but that's not reason for us not to think about how we can build up on this progress to even move further.
Femi, and I want to use a pun here. Give us a bird's eye view, being the flying farmer, of what this means for you. What, to Victor's point, some of these missed opportunities that we haven't gone for. Maybe you can also give us a bit more context around the technology you've been working on and what you see it advancing based on what we have missed out maybe previously into the coming decade.
Yeah. I mean, based on what Victor earlier mentioned, more particularly around attracting youth into agriculture. As I said, not necessarily we making agriculture sexy, right, but making it profitable from business side of things, I mean, of angle, and also profitable career out of agriculture, a sustainable career on the agricultural part is very, very important. And this is what we are seeing the youth gravitating towards not just agriculture because it's beautiful, but does this guarantee security? Does this guarantee economic security also? And that is why you can see youth also innovating, right? And innovating and using technology. And that relates to what we are doing at Integrated Area Precision, pioneering the use of drone technology in the African landscape, and how we're thinking about how to use this technology to support smallholder farmers, taking them, from just being small, and helping them to scale more. Because the joy of any business is to grow, right, and not to remain small. And I believe that we have sat on the heels of the smallholder for long. If you get my point, in Africa, we need to scale. And because if we scale, that is where we can be able to unlock further opportunity for the youth to come in and be able to see, you know, professionalism, right, in the sector, right? And that is very key. You would see that when we have a more structured market, where our farmers are thriving, and they are also, getting value for their labor on the field, right? We would be able to see that more youth will come in, right? And also existing farmers can be able to make better livelihood for themselves, right? So this is what I see across the landscape, and technology is also helping. Not just drone technology, we've seen youth even with what we do, or just seeing us, innovating with emerging technologies from IoT to blockchain. At the end of the day, it's not about the technology, but it's about the solution that the technology brings to. We all yearn to have a better agri-food system in Africa landscape. We want it to be organized. We want it to be profitable. We want it to be sustainable. We want it to, to outlast us, and we want to be proud of, of the deliverables that we can deliver through our impact and work in the sector.
Because if you think about it, so we have one of the largest youth demographics that's coming into the job market. We are talking about the sense that we have the still rising hunger on the continent. So really thinking about how we leverage one space to be able to solve problems in another space. Yeah, I quite like that. And we've had a few conversations here on the pod as well around the significance of data. And Victor, you raised this point as well, and what that means. But I think that maybe it's to speak to young people. Do you think that we are in the space where we have young people understand that agriculture is going to be more than just what it looks like on the farm, that all of these support structures, systems, to the point you talked about, are going to be significant, and we are going to need people in those spaces as well? Just a quick reflection on that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, especially on communication and how we need to do it, especially to young people. And even while engaging young people, we really require different sort of communication modality and approach. And in our organization, one of the things that we were really thinking about is how we can shift our communication to even endear young people even further. I know quite a number of organizations reach out to young farmers, like typical farmers. And you'll find like the average age of a farmer is about 47 years. So if you're using the same sort of communication to engage them so that they can be able to get into the agri-food sector, I don't think it will work. And I think that has been one of the challenges. And there's a very good analogy that we were really reflecting on. And it's, for example, a company wants to engage you, but it had to call your parents first and then ask your parents to talk to you about it. And I mean, that's sort of, it wouldn't work in essence.
Generally, most things that our parents recommend, they're not cool. So
Exactly. So we need to target young people themselves, communicate to them in the language they do understand, but also not just forgetting about the basics and the fundamentals, that even with the communication styles, the aim is just to continue making it profitable and sustainable. And if these two things are sort of solved, also together with the communication approach, then young people are really happy to get and engaged into the agri-food sector.
So, Femi, on the conversation of profit, money, I think we have you as a good example of a business that's running.
Yes.
Tell us some of the solutions you're solving for. But I'm sure, as with every business, it comes with some challenges. Maybe I just want to hear a little bit more about that so that we also have a great understanding of the realistic nature of this business and where we're going to succeed, where we're going to fail. But I think ultimately we're aiming towards that being profitable. Tell us a little bit more.
Okay, so my company is an agri-tech service provider, providing drone technology and data analytics solutions to help farmers, or perhaps empower them to farm smarter, better, and more profitably. Because it is when the farmer sees profit or anticipates profit, that's when they can be able to see value in what we do. And that, with this, talking about drone technology, we use drone technology for various things, and we have in various spectrum, collecting data about their production, about their land, understanding the terrain, understanding the risks, maybe for flooding, and also understanding the risks from biotic stress, pests and diseases on the field, and they can be able to take informed decision in combating the incidence of pests and disease as early as possible before it causes them economic damage. Right, and that's talking about
mitigating
mitigating for risks, right? So they are well informed. So we provide them with that solution, right, through drone technology, right? And we also use drone technology to help them to do basic things that they do in terms of crop management, from crop protection application, spraying, broadcasting of fertilizers or broadcasting of seeds, and the interesting part of this is that this technology, drone technology, is making agriculture stress free and taking away drudgery from agriculture for farmers. And in the face of the youth, that's just what they want. They don't want to suffer. Just to produce some food, right? It now becomes easier, and not only that, the speed, the efficacy, the efficiency, and the precision that this technology brings to them is game changing. Let's take, for example, farmers would typically take 3 to 4 hours to spray 1 hectare of land, and with drone technology, they're able to do that in between 5 to 10 minutes. You can see that's really significant.
It's a game changer.
It's game changing, right? So that's some of the things. And not only that, they're able to save on pesticide, or agro inputs that they're using, so which not only save their pocket, right, because they are able to save money, right, cut cost, whereby also increasing their profit margin, right. They are also able to do this as fast as possible, save on time, take away the drudgery, water efficiency in case where there is, by 90%. So about 90% water saving.
And I guess
a lot of more things.
With greater efficiency and the precision you're talking about, we also avoid where we have misuse of fertilizers. It's better
to
for
the environment.
all of that.
Yes.
I guess, Femi, while you still have the mic, where do you see IAP 10 years from now?
I see IAP, our mission is to mainstream precision agriculture, leveraging drone technology and data analytics. Mainstreaming here means that this is new, relatively new. We want to make every African farmer have access to drone technology and the benefit that drone technology can deliver. Precision agriculture will not be a buzzword any longer, but it will be an household concept, what they practice. I see 10 years later, what we consider as traditional farming, precision agriculture will replace that in the minds or in the mouth of farmers or stakeholders, right? That is what we are pushing for, right? So we are not just wholly providing services. Interesting part of it is that we are positioned to train many youths. We are training youth, building their capacity. So like we say, we are raising the next generation of tech inclined and digitally savvy farmers. So as I see the African landscape with what IEP is doing through our academy and works, right, I see youth also waking up, to develop more technology, not just becoming an observer of technological trend, but they become active players, innovators, creators, enablers of this technological impact. Right, that is what I see in the next 10 years, and we're leading on that.
And Victor, when you hear this sort of dream reflected, and we're hearing sort of the advances that are already being made, I want to put the same question of 10 years from now to you. But perhaps because you've been quite involved in seeing how youth engagement happens and these spaces that we've been trying to create, where do you see us as a continent 10 years from now? What are the things you hope to see we would have done better?
Yeah, so as I said, there's much that has gone on, and there's so much progress that we're seeing. In essence, the AGRA, Africa Food Systems Forum, my apologies, this year is focusing on youth, and so there's a lot of deliberate effort that is going into it. Yeah, but 10 years from now, I hope that the young people will be leading from the front on the agri-food systems transformation process, and that we will have worked our agri-food system to a point where we do not need to ask young people to engage in it. They can already see the value proposition. They can already see the business opportunity. And now that they can be able to immerse themselves in the sector to a point where they are leading their transformation.
Well, while we are still on that point, actually, I also want, here's how I want you to think about it. 10 years from now, you'll also be the adult of that time.
Yes.
What do you want young people to hold you accountable to?
Yeah, and accountability is really crucial. And in my own estimation, I want to be held accountable to the fact that during my time, I helped move the needle on agri-food systems transformation, on youth engagement, on modernizing the agri-food sector, on making it profitable, and that then the numbers that we see of people who are hungry or smallholder farmers being the poorest, or that we do not have a variety such that nutrition deficiencies are still prevalent. Yeah, I want to be held accountable that during our time, we were able to move the needle significantly on some of the challenges. And yeah, it's something that is absolutely possible.
Yeah, I really enjoyed having you on the podcast. We could go on forever, but I'm afraid our time is coming to a close. But right before we close, I want you to just give me in a sentence or two, if people were to remember this conversation by something, what would that sentence be for you? Or it could be, what is an idea we think we could scale tomorrow? We'll start with you, Femi.
An idea you think we can scale tomorrow. The idea that the youths are not just the future, we are right in the present, and we deserve all of the resource and opportunity to maximize the potential to deliver the future we envisage. Yeah.
Okay. Victor, and I gave you an out. You've had the time to think about it.
Thanks for the time, by the way. Yeah, we do not need to talk to youth. We need to talk with youth. We do not now need to talk with youth. We need to build with them. And so I think that's the next trajectory where we build with them this transformation process. They want to see the agriculture sector and the agri-food sector, to be specific, really, much more profitable, much more sustainable. And if we can be able to crack that, we'll have young people en masse engaging in the agri-food sector in such a way that they can lead the transformation process. So one person going hungry is
one too many.
Yeah.
So if I visit your house tomorrow, am I finding beans?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you will find me probably also on the farm growing beans as well, because now I'm back to growing the high iron beans.
Oh, perfect. And Femi, what am I finding? Cassava still?
You find cassava.
All right.
Yes.
You'll find him flying as well.
And I will take you on a flight.
With the eagle eye. Thank you so much, both. My name is Wando Chileshe, and this has been the AGRA podcast. Thank you.